3rd District Congressman Jim Banks joins us here live in studio. Good to see you, as always.
Good to be with you.
Thanks for making time for us. Now, let's get right to this. We don't have a lot of time here. Last week, the Washington Examiner called you the unofficial thought leader of the House GOP. Said a lot of things, very flattering. Said you spend some time thinking about the future of conservatism and the Republican Party, and as chairman of the Republican Study Committee, and a rising star in the House, that you almost see that as your job. I just want to get a quick question in here, and then we'll let you go. What about the person yelling right now, no, your job is to represent the 3rd District?
Well, it always has been, it always will be. I mean, my first job is to represent the conservative values of Northeast Indiana. That's what you sent me to Washington to do. I'm also very lucky to be the chairman of the Republican Study Committee, the largest conservative caucus on Capitol Hill. And in that job, as this article in the Washington Examiner points out, I mean, we're singularly focused on a mission of defining what the Republican Party stands for in this post-Trump era, how can the party win back the majority in the midterm election in 2022. I happen to believe we win back the majority if we focus on the Trump agenda, what he fought for. He wasn't just an effective president. He also brought millions of new voters into the Republican fold who weren't Republicans before. And if we stay focused on that agenda that President Trump fought for, I believe we'll win back the majority next year and we'll win back the White House in 2024.
Vice President Pence said this week that he and former President Trump won't ever see eye to eye on January 6th events. How important is it for the Republican Party's future for the two sides to kind of have at least some sort of peace accord, I guess?
Yeah, well, I don't know what Vice President Pence meant by that. I have a lot of admiration for Mike Pence. Today is his birthday, by the way. Happy birthday to our former governor and Vice President. A great man, a man of great principle and integrity. I listened to his speech. I'm not sure what he means by those disagreements, but at the end of the day, Mike Pence made it very clear exactly what I'm saying, that Donald Trump was an effective president. The Trump-Pence agenda for 4 years is something that I think most of us would trade what we have today to have that back, because what they did to grow the economy, protect the American dream, make America safer, to restore America's role in the world has diminished every day since Donald Trump and Mike Pence left office. And I know there might be disagreements between the two of them about January 6th, but there's no disagreement or daylight between the two of them about how important and effective that record was for the Trump-Pence team for 4 years.
You meet with President Trump this week as part of your role as the leader in the state. What are we going to talk about, I guess?
Well, we're going to talk about this.
Yeah.
Again, getting back to the agenda. When Republicans focus on what makes us different from the radical socialist agenda of the Democrat Party, we win because the American people are on our side. They see the difference. They see that they're paying more at the gas pump today than what they were paying just 6 months ago, or just a few months ago. They're paying more every time they go to the grocery store. By the way, inflation is a hidden tax on working class families right here at home, and inflation is directly tied to the massive amount of spending that has occurred on Joe Biden's watch over the past 5 months. So there's a big difference between what the Democrats stand for and what Republicans stand for. I happen to believe that Donald Trump can and should play a big role in the Republican Party moving forward, and we're going to talk about that with him on Thursday. But most importantly, talk about the agenda, the Republican Study Committee that I have staked out with my colleagues to pave the way forward for us to win back the majority and be the majority party for a long time to come.
And really quickly, any chance that you're going to run for governor? You're on a list, at least one that I've seen. Is that a job that would ever interest you?
Maybe. I mean, Indiana is home, and I love serving at the State House. But right now, I'm focused on being the most effective representative that I can. And I haven't talked about it a whole lot, but I will run for re-election in 2022, and that's what I'm focused on right now. And when we win back the majority in the midterm, that means I'll have an even bigger role to play at the national level to push back on the Democrats' agenda, save this country, and advocate for the conservative values that we care so deeply about here in Northeast Indiana.
Less than 30 seconds, biggest threat to America right now?
I still believe it's the China threat, what China wants to do to wipe our economy off the map, steal our jobs, militarily, economically. That's a threat that I'm focused on every single day on the Armed Services Committee, and something I've dedicated a lot of my time to in Washington.
3rd District Congressman Jim Banks joins us here live on First at 5, and I think Nicholas is up next.